Hi, we have arrived at Melrose Plantation. It's a National Historic Landmark. Yep, so guided tour is $10 for adult, $5 for student, and if you just want to go to garden, it's $5 for adult, $3 for student. Alright, let's head in. Very nice garden. Alright, we're heading into the gift shop. Huh?
The next tour is in like 45
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so we're gonna take that?
Yeah.
So $12.15. $10 per trip.
Here is the map, and we're gonna go into the weaving house. Oh, tiny chapel. What's in this one? Bedroom? What's this one? Living room. And this is storage. Oh, Stina found something. What is this? Peepa?
No, I do not know what that's called. 它是枣，它是某种果子，货。你看这花花草草。
Hi, so 我们走完园区 we finished walking around the garden. It's really
It's
nice.
really nice. It's kind of like a fairy tale.
Yeah, the buildings are really pretty and wooden made. And behind it is guided tour only. The actual plantation, Melrose Plantation.
The house, the main house.
They have
the whole
tour.
thing is a plantation.
Oh, that's the main house. They have a tour every hour on the 15th of the hour, like every hour 15. Yeah. All right.
How long is the tour?
45 minutes to 60 minutes. Yeah. And no picture inside. So,
Yeah.
yep. So this is the last of
The plantation.
plantations, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay.
Now
Marie-Therese Quan and Claude Thomas Pierre Metoyer had a 19-year relationship together, but they were never married because at that time it was illegal to marry a slave. And follow me, we're going to be heading over to the Yucca house. Eventually, Claude Thomas bought Marie-Therese's freedom for her and gave her a plot of about 68 acres of land so that she could start farming and making money so that she could start freeing her children out of slavery as well. So with that money she made, she was able to free the rest of her children out of slavery as well as apply for Spanish land grants in their names. So this is where we get our site from today. This is a Spanish land grant that was given to Louis Metoyer. Henry, the mother, started what is called the Melrose Artist Retreat on our site. She invited artists from all over Louisiana and the country to come here, stay here for free, as long as you wanted, as long as you were working on your craft.
So that's why they have the writers.
Yeah. Coming up on the Yucca house now, like I said, this is the oldest building on our property. This would have been the temporary residence for the Metoyer family while they were building the big house behind you.
Okay.
You can see the doors and windows are parallel to each other because they would have it open like this in the day to allow that cross breeze to go straight through and cool you off.
Because it's so hot.
Good idea.
You're welcome to look in all the doors and windows while I talk. I'm just going to talk while you look.
Okay.
It's set up today to look like what it would have looked like during the Melrose Artist Retreat. This housed the male artists who are staying here. Specifically, a man named Francois Mignon stayed here. He's said to be the guest that came to dinner and never left. He was here for 32 years straight. And him and Miss Tammy, our third owner, had a very nice friendship, and she kind of let him do his own thing on the artist retreat. So you're going to find a lot of inspiration from Francois throughout our tour. His name is going to come up a lot, so just keep that in the back of your head.
Is that the man on the picture today?
That man in the picture in the fireplace is Lyle Saxon. He was another writer who stayed in the Yucca house for some time before Francois came.
Are they required to produce like a certain amount of work?
Not a certain amount, you're just required to be working all the time. It is said that Miss Tammy Henry tended to lock Lyle Saxon up in the Yucca house so that he would work on his books. Uncle Israel.
Israel.
When slavery was abolished, he stayed on as a sharecropper here. But these are his papers when he was freed from slavery. Those are the original papers. You can see his signature is on the back. He was illiterate and he learned how to write his signature specifically for that purpose. The porch are called stranger rooms. You can see these doors are the only ways in or out of either of these rooms. So if you had a guest coming down the river, maybe on their way to New Orleans, and they needed a place to stay for the night, you'd be hospitable and let them stay here. But because you didn't know them, you didn't want them to have access to your house or anything. So it's kind of like a hotel room attached to your house.
And that's a chapel?
Yeah, this stranger room was converted into a chapel by Francois Mignon for the other artists that were staying on retreat.
Stranger room.
Yeah, we learned about this in the Creole presentation. The other one, I don't remember which one.
Right here in the middle is where the Metoyers would have eaten their dinner. There would have been some type of slave boy stand in the corner and pull this back and forth while you ate to keep the flies off of the food. Have you been to any other plantations before? Yeah. They're very common. You almost always find them over a dinner table and sometimes in the kitchen as well.
Isn't it usually indoor though? Like
They usually are, but obviously I'm not sure why they built their dining room outside, but yeah.
French colonial architecture.
You can see the roof overhangs very low to keep the sun from directly hitting the sides of the bricks at almost any time throughout the day. So it keeps the inside significantly cooler than the outside. This was used just as a general storage building. They could store their crops in here, their farm equipment. They cured tobacco on the second floor. They could hang their tobacco from the rafters. And even at one point it was used as a schoolhouse. So basically anything they needed it for.
Nothing African about this house.
Have you heard of Clementine Hunter before?
No.
Okay, well I'm about to teach you about her. We're going to go upstairs and see her original African house murals.
900 acres of sound distance?
Yeah.
Wow.
This was your wake up, go to sleep, dinner time, help my house on fire, anything like that. So you're absolutely welcome to ring it. Please do. Just be warned it's loud.
Ring it.
Yeah, you gotta ring it. I've never had anyone on my tour not ring it.
Whoa! I want to do it too. Hold it.
You want to do it too?
Yes, my turn.
Lucky. No, he's gonna want one. You want one in your bedroom then?
Tell, this is a live oak tree. There's one in the front as well. This one is around 130 years old. You see this green stuff growing on the branches? That's called resurrection fern. So if it hasn't rained in a few days, it'll start to dry up and look dead and brown. You can see it right here on this end joint. But as soon as it's done raining, we have a really good heavy rain. It'll spring back to life in a matter of a few hours and turn that nice pretty green color. So hopefully later today it'll be green.
Wow.
Before we head inside the big house, stop and take a look at this back portion. It looks like it juts out farther than the rest, but it doesn't look like it fits in with the rest of the house because it doesn't. Miss Cammie Henry, she has a big name in this area, but she also has a big pocketbook. So one day she saw this mansion being torn down. She paid the workers for the rest of it, which was this piece, had them put it on a barge, shipped down the Cane River, and sutured directly to the back of her house. So this back portion was from a completely different mansion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know they can do that.
Yeah.
It's like half a different house.
Yeah. Pretty monumentous for that time period as well.
Where
Also,
did she got her money from?
she was born into a wealthy family. Both her and her husband's families were very wealthy, but also they made a lot of money off of their pecan harvest. Yeah. Also, when you go inside the house, you will notice that there are no stairways or hallways inside. That is because originally when Louis Moutoir built the house, it was only 2 rooms up on stilts. And I'll tell you why when we go inside.
Second floor.
This is actually 2 saplings that intertwined and grew together as one tree. So at the base of that tree, at the trunk, it is 25 feet in diameter. This little white building in the corner is the wine cellar, but during the Prohibition, it became the greenhouse. Right? Also, you can.
I just finished the tour. How do you like it?
I love it. It's so awesome.
It's so fun.
It's really fun. All the history in detail, the house, and the structure as well.
My favorite is you get to go into like a lot of building and then you see like these art exhibit only by Clementin, right? It's really cool story for each painting, and the guide is really good at what she's doing.
So I think it's definitely worth a visit. It's not too pricey, and
Yeah, we're the only person on the tour,
yeah,
so we get a private tour, which is kind of cool.
yeah. But it's definitely worth visiting.
Worth checking out. Definitely check it out.
And there's other plantation around the area too.
It's
so
a national park. We've
yeah,
been
and
there
you
already.
You can really see the difference between this one and the other
The
ones.
Cane River plantation.
It's a free slavery owned plantation. So
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yep. So yeah, really enjoyed this point. Then we're gonna head home now. This is our last stop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3-hour drive.
3 hour 45-minute drive from New Orleans.
We need to leave before the storm.
There's no thunderstorm. It's getting brighter.
I know. The peace before
Yeah. So
storm.
this is our weekend getaway.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Thank you for watching our video. JS Adventure is a snippet of our daily lives and travel.
谢谢收看我们的频道 JS Adventure 记录了我们的日常生活跟旅游记事。
Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't. See you guys next time.
下集见，
拜拜。